The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Alexis Chen stepped through the crystalline doors. Her boots echoed against the obsidian floor, each step deliberate, measured. Behind her, Commander Luke Morrison carried a single silver case, his jaw set in grim determination. "The human representative wishes to address the council?" Supreme Chancellor Vex Thor's voice dripped with amusement. His tentacles writhed in what passed for laughter among the Zenthari. "How quaint." Alexis stopped at the center podium, her dark eyes scanning the semicircle of alien dignitaries. 12 species. 12 civilizations that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. And every single one of them was smiling. "We received your decision regarding Earth's petition for protected status," Alexis began, her voice steady. "Indeed!" Councillor Threxna of the Molvan Concordat leaned forward, her chitinous face plates clicking with delight. "Your little world believes it deserves the same protections as established civilizations. You've barely left your own star system." Laughter rippled through the chamber. The Arvelian representative's scales shimmered with mirth. The Korvathi emissary's 3 heads bobbed in synchronized mockery. Luke's hand tightened on the case handle. Alexis raised a single finger. "Not yet." "We've reviewed the treaties," Alexis continued. "All 47 galactic accords, the Non-Aggression Pact of Helios Prime, the Dimensional Sovereignty Agreement, the Temporal Non-Interference Clause." "Yes, yes," Vex Thor waved a dismissive tentacle. "Treaties your primitive world could never hope to understand. Let alone, we broke them all." The chamber froze. "Excuse me?" The Supreme Chancellor's bioluminescent skin flickered from blue to warning red. Alexis nodded to Luke. He opened the case and pulled out a data pad, its screen glowing with scrolling information. Article 7 of the Non-Aggression Pact specifically forbids the weaponization of stellar cores. 20 minutes ago, humanity successfully converted a red dwarf star in the Kepler system into a directed energy weapon. We're calling it Project Sunbreaker. "Impossible," breathed Councillor Vrixtal. "That technology requires centuries of—" "Article 19 prohibits the creation of self-replicating warships," Alexis interrupted. 47 minutes ago, Earth's orbital shipyards deployed the first wave of von Neumann probes armed with antimatter warheads. Current projections suggest they'll outnumber every vessel in the galactic fleet within 6 months. The chamber erupted. Delegates rose from their seats, voices raised in a cacophony of outrage and disbelief. "Silence!" Vex Thor's voice boomed through the hall's amplification system. "You dare threaten this council? You dare violate sacred treaties?" Luke stepped forward, his expression cold. "We didn't threaten anyone, Chancellor. We just did what humans do best. We broke the rules you said we were too stupid to break." "The Dimensional Sovereignty Agreement," Alexis continued, consulting Luke's datapad, "forbids unauthorized dimensional breach technology. Earth scientists successfully opened 17 stable wormholes across the galaxy 90 minutes ago. One of them terminates approximately 3 light-years from your homeworld. Chancellor." Vex Thor's skin flashed crimson. "This is an act of war." "No," Alexis replied calmly. "This is what happens when you mock a species that went from riding horses to splitting atoms in less than a century. When you laugh at a civilization that looked at the stars and decided we belonged there, before we even understood orbital mechanics." She walked closer to the podium, her voice carrying to every corner of the massive chamber. "You want to know what makes humans different? We don't wait for permission. We don't ask if something is allowed. We ask if something is possible, and then we make it happen." "The Temporal Non-Interference Clause," Councillor Threxna began. "Already violated," Luke interjected. 22 minutes ago, Earth's first temporal observatory went online. We're not changing the past. That would be reckless. We're just watching, learning, Every mistake you've made, every war you've fought, every civilization you've crushed. We've seen it all now, and we've learned from your mistakes." The chamber had gone deathly quiet. Alexis could see the calculations happening behind alien eyes, the risk assessments, the sudden terrible realization that perhaps humanity wasn't as primitive as they'd assumed. "You've committed an act of unprecedented aggression," Vexthor said slowly. "The Council will have no choice but to respond with overwhelming force." "Will you?" Alexis asked softly. "Because here's what else happened in the last 2 hours. Every single human ship, military and civilian, received updated quantum encryption protocols that your best cryptographers won't crack for a decade. Every human colony activated defense grids using technology we reverse-engineered from the 15 archaeological expeditions you sent to Earth, thinking we wouldn't notice." She paused, letting the words sink in. "And most importantly, every nuclear warhead, every antimatter bomb, every kinetic strike platform humanity has ever built is now linked to a dead man's switch. If Earth falls, if humanity is eliminated, the galaxy goes dark. Not metaphorically, literally. We've done the math." Luke pulled up a holographic display showing cascading calculations, stellar positions, gravitational constants, chain reaction projections. The image painted a picture of galactic-scale devastation. "You're insane," whispered the Arvelian representative. "No," Alexis corrected. "We're survivors. You mocked us. You laughed at our petition for protection. You treated us like children playing with toys we didn't understand." She smiled, cold and sharp. "So we showed you that humans don't play with toys. We build weapons. And we're very, very good at it." Vexthor's skin had faded to a pale, sickly gray. "What do you want?" "The same thing we wanted 3 days ago," Alexis replied. "Protected status for Earth and all human colonies, full voting rights in the Galactic Council, and a formal apology for your patronizing attitude toward a species that just demonstrated we can break your precious treaties before you finish your afternoon tea." The Supreme Chancellor looked at his fellow counselors. Some were angry, some were afraid, but all of them were reassessing. "And if we refuse?" he asked quietly. Alexis picked up the datapad from Luke and set it on the podium. Then, in approximately 4 hours, when our temporal observers finish their analysis, we'll release every piece of embarrassing, incriminating, and politically devastating information about every council member to the entire galaxy. We'll share the technology we developed tonight with every species you've ever marginalized, and we'll sit back and watch what happens." She turned to leave, Luke falling into step beside her. "Oh, and Chancellor, we're keeping the star weapon. Call it Earth's insurance policy." As they reached the crystalline doors, Alexis paused and looked back at the stunned council. "You wanted to see what humanity was capable of when pushed? Congratulations, you just found out. Next time, maybe don't mock the species that turned mutually assured destruction into an art form." The doors closed behind them with a soft chime. Inside the chamber, Vexthor slowly lowered himself into his seat. After a long moment, he spoke. "Draft the recognition treaty. Grant them protected status." "But Supreme Chancellor," Threxna protested. "They broke 47 treaties in one night," Vexthor interrupted, his voice hollow. "Treaties that took our civilization centuries to even understand, and they did it out of spite." He looked at the datapad still glowing on the podium. "What do you think they'll do when they're actually angry?" No one had an answer. In the corridor outside, Luke glanced at Alexis. "Think they bought it?" Alexis smiled. Every word. "Sometimes the best weapon isn't what you have, it's what they think you have. Half of those projects don't even exist yet." "Yet being the operative word," Alexis replied. "Give our scientists another week. They'll make sure we weren't lying." Because that was the thing about humanity. When someone said something was impossible, humans took it as a challenge. When someone mocked their capabilities, Humans made sure to exceed every expectation, usually in the most dramatic way possible. The Council had learned that lesson tonight. The galaxy would learn it soon enough. Andy.